and Forme Millinery Hat Shop. Jenny Pfannenstiel is with us, and Jenny has her own hat shop. She has her own book. She's very accomplished and very passionate about making her hats. Okay, Jenny, there is something that separates you from other folks that I've seen who make hats.
Yes.
You make hats from scratch. That's what being a millinery is, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your background. I know you graduated with a degree in design.
Yes.
You worked with designers in London.
Yes.
Now brag on yourself. I want you to brag on yourself.
Yes, I have a fashion design degree from the Art Institute of Colorado, and I wanted to create costumes originally for the ballet and for theater and movies, and when I then went from Colorado to Chicago and had an opportunity to do just that, and made costumes for Cirque du Soleil. I did a Grammy dress for Margaret Cho, and always thought I was going to do costumes for the rest of my life. And then I met a milliner from New York who was visiting Chicago. She'd been in business for about 40 years and had no idea that millinery still existed in the United States. And I've always had a fascination with hats, and so when I was asking her a little bit more about the process, she said, well, you need to learn what's called blocking, which is the molding the material over these wooden blocks. And I took a couple courses in it, and since I already knew how to hand sew, it just kind of came natural, and the rest is kind of history.
Your creations are beautiful, and so much so, Jenny, and that you have celebrity clients, correct?
I do. I'm very fortunate to have made hats for some wonderful, fashionable people. Oprah Winfrey. I actually had 15 hats on the Oprah show for the royal wedding episode. The staff wore the hats while they served tea and crumpets to the audience during the royal wedding when they were speaking back and forth with London, and so that was a real treat. And Michelle Obama, Madonna, Nikki Sixx.
My goodness.
Yeah.
And you can actually see these hats on display. Now, before we talk about your events that are coming up, I want the camera to take a look at some of these vibrant colors, beautiful hats. You and I had a chance to chat a little bit before we went on air, and you were telling me fascinators, but almost like a hybrid of a fascinator. That's what's in? Tell me about that.
Yes. So what I'm seeing a lot this year is, there's so many terms, but what I'm seeing a lot this year is what's called a hatinator. So the fascinator, the definition of a fascinator is a small hat that sits on your head, where a hat covers your head. A hatinator is kind of in between. It's the size of maybe a hat, but still sits on your head.
Okay, that makes sense.
But a lot of people are going in the direction of the fascinator or hatinator. I think they're finding that they're very lightweight, more comfortable. But of course, there's always people who want to stay with the tradition of the large brim. So I don't want to deter people away from that. They're still lovely.
Being a milliner, is there any distinction between a normal fashion hat and a derby hat? What makes a hat derby-esque? I'm just curious. Is there a difference?
Well,
is it colors or,
I mean, I make my hats all the same way, but a lot of times with derby, a lot more people are willing to kind of come outside of their shell a little bit more, maybe experiment more with color, a little bit more flamboyancy maybe, a lot more feathers or flowers. You still have people that maybe want something very simple, but I would say for the most part people really want to go all out and just wear that one-of-a-kind hat that's going to make them stand out. Again,
Jenny Pfannenstiel, you are an impressive individual, impressive designer. Take a look at the magazine. Now this is your magazine. We have one on display here.
Yes.
It's your book. It's very beautiful. It's not a book. It's not a magazine. It's a book.
It's a book. Yes. I'm very honored to have been asked to write a book about millinery through Dover Publications out of New York. They wanted me to write a how-to book. So there's 9 different hat-making projects in this book where I have step-by-step instructions, very detailed pictures. I talk about the history, a little bit of the history of millinery, and then I talk about specifically the millinery materials that are involved with making hats.
I am sure there's a lot of ladies and gentlemen who would love to meet you and talk to you. You have some upcoming events. You're gonna work with Raquel over at Rodeo Drive?
Yes, today after the show I'm going to be at Rodeo Drive for a trunk show until 6 p.m. and then tomorrow I will be at Keeneland. Tomorrow through Sunday I'll be at Keeneland doing a trunk show, and then next Friday the 30th I'll be doing an event with Brown-Forman.
Now when you say trunk show, I am hoping, Jenny, that some of these beautiful hats will actually be on sale, correct?
Oh, absolutely. They'll all be on sale.
Fantastic. Jenny, I am totally impressed. I had no idea that actually this hat making process starts from scratch, from a mold.
Exactly. I'm not buying a hat already made and then decorating it with embellishments. I am actually starting from the raw materials, and they're actually millinery materials. Unfortunately, I'm not going to Joann Fabrics and buying material that's readily available. I'm actually purchasing these from millinery supply houses all over the world. And this particular straw, this is a millinery cineme. I actually work with local dyers, Justin and Nathan from Bads & Bee, where I'll create a custom design and they will dye it onto my straw. So this is truly one of a kind straw piece. And then I wet and steam it over the different blocks. This is the brim block, this is the crown block.
Wow.
I mold it, and then once it's dry, I hand sew it together. I don't glue anything. I hand sew the two pieces together and then wire it and then embellish it. And
I'm curious, Jenny, if someone wanted a personalized, one-of-a-kind hat that is very much theirs, their individual hat, do you take orders like that?
Yes.
Do you create those?
I do. A big part of my business is custom work. Because I'm a milliner and I make the hats from scratch, if someone finds that it's been difficult for them to find a hat that truly fits them, I can measure your head. That way it's going to fit them perfectly, because I have hundreds of these, all different shapes and sizes to fit people's head sizes. But we'll try on different shapes and sizes. We'll pick out the color material that you want, and then I'll make a hat just for you.
Jenny, you are amazing. I'm telling you, you are amazing. I can tell you're passionate about what you do, and also
much.
very accomplished. All right.